So you're moving to South Florida and want to make sure that when you find your dream home, you're able to put in an offer and actually close on the property. So today we're going to be discussing the ultimate cheat sheet of things that you absolutely need to know before putting in an offer on a house down here in South Florida. So stick around, we're going to jump right into it. What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to my channel, Living in Fort Lauderdale. My name's Rob Zeoli. I'm a real estate agent right down here in sunny South Florida. And if this is your first time here to the channel, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel down below and tap the little bell icon to be notified anytime I go ahead and drop a new video. I put out weekly videos and content about what it's like to live and to play down here in South Florida. But more than that, guys, I am a licensed real estate agent, and what I love more than anything is to help people just like you with their real estate needs. So if that is you and you have any questions at all about real estate and South Florida, my information will be popping up down below. You can reach me 24/7. I'm always open and look forward to hearing from you and helping you with any questions that you might have. And without further ado, let's dive right into the video. All right, so again, we're going to be jumping into and talking about the ultimate guide or cheat sheet of things you absolutely need to know before putting in an offer on a house down here in South Florida. And if you want to get a copy of my ultimate home buying guide, this is over 120 pages of insider tips and tricks covering every aspect of the home buying process. There will be a link down below where you can get your copy. It's absolutely free and there's no obligation whatsoever. And before we dive into it, we definitely have to discuss the market down here in South Florida. Now, there's been a ton of talk about the real estate market and speculation on if there's a crash coming. There's a bunch of articles out there, and I'm getting questions a bunch about these different articles. Now, one of the questions I'm getting is regarding Zillow. Now, for those of you out there that don't know who Zillow is, they are the probably the biggest and most popular real estate website where people go and search for properties. Now, recently their stock value has plummeted, and people are wondering, does Zillow know something about the market? Is it going to be crashing? Do they have some sort of insider information? And some people are a little bit leery and ask me about this all the time before they decide they want to put an offer in on a property. Now, Zillow's business model, ever since I've been in real estate, which is well over a decade, has been just as an information source where people would actually go to search for properties for sale. And the way they made money was through advertising. So they would actually steal or borrow. So our multiple listing service had an agreement with Zillow. So when we would put our listings in, say I took a listing and someone was selling their home, it would be syndicated out to Zillow's website and people could find it on Zillow. Now, again, Zillow is a free site, so the only way they would make their money or a profit would be to sell advertising to mortgage brokers and other real estate agents. So local realtors would pay Zillow to show up in a search. So if I had a listing in a certain zip code, I'm helping someone sell their home, other realtors in that zip code could pay Zillow, and if someone pulls up that address on Zillow, not only would my information be there, if the buyer wanted to reach out and get some more information about the property, there would be 3 other real estate agents listed next to me, and the whole point was the buyer would reach out to one of the realtors, and if it happened to be the one that paid for the advertising, so be it, but they paid for that, and that's how Zillow made their money. Now, Zillow decided in, I don't know what year it was, so don't quote me on it, maybe 2019, they wanted to get into the real estate business and actually start buying and selling homes. So in this sense, they acted no different than any local investor that would go out and buy a home from a seller. So who would be a candidate to sell to an investor? Someone that had a home that needed a lot of repair, maybe someone that inherited the property and was out of state and didn't have time to come down and put it on the market, someone that doesn't want to show it. Whatever the case may be, they would sell it to an investor, not have to pay real estate commissions, and the investor would come in and take the house, clean it out, do some repairs, and put it back on the market and sell it. So Zillow decided to do the same thing, and they launched their instant offers program, or the iBuyer program. So what's happening right now is that Zillow basically totally missed the mark and underestimated, what it's like to be an actual investor. And their program, their iBuyer program, has just totally tanked. And what they're doing is getting rid of the iBuyer or instant offer program and dumping all of their properties and actually laying off, they say, about 25 to 30%. I think that's the number of their employees, and I think a lot of them are realtors that were hired by Zillow. They became a brokerage in the process as well, and they were hired by Zillow to actually sell these properties. So they're getting rid of the entire program, and that is really what is causing the big stock devaluation of Zillow itself. Now, the real question is, does Zillow have some sort of insider information that's making them nervous about the market, and that's the reason why they don't want to buy any more properties? The answer to that is I do not know, but as far as speculating about the real estate market, it's just that, speculation. Now, what I can tell you from my own personal perspective is I don't see anything on the horizon that makes me think that the market is going to change down here in South Florida drastically in the near coming future. So the real estate industry has been around for about 250 years, and one thing that's guaranteed is that the market goes up and it goes down, and it has been ever since there was a real estate market. So we are definitely at a point well over 10 years of appreciation, and obviously sooner or later things cannot be appreciating forever, so there will be some sort of a correction. But is there going to be a crash? In my opinion, I don't think so. But then again, this is only speculation, so I don't really know. All I can tell you is what I'm seeing right down here, right now, on the ground, working in real estate and putting in offers on homes, and nothing seems to be really changing at this point. So for those of you out there that think that the market is crashing, and say there's a $600,000 home for sale and you think there might be an opportunity to negotiate with the seller. Now, unless this is a totally unreasonable seller that really has no intention of selling, they just decided to throw the property on the market and say, I want to ask $600,000 on a home where other ones are selling for about $300,000, you're not going to have much negotiating room. So thinking you're going to put in an offer at, say, $550,000 or even $575,000 on a $600,000 home that is priced correctly, it's not going to happen. You're not going to get the offer. You're not going to win the contract. I can pretty much guarantee it. And I challenge you, if you want to find out, come down here and do that, and I can tell you you're not going to get the house. So the market is still very competitive down here in South Florida, and that is what we're seeing. Now, another thing that's unique to the real estate market here in Florida itself is that we are one of the states that we have a huge amount of people actually moving to the state from other states like California and New York. So we have a big influx of people and still a very small inventory of homes. So I do not see anything changing drastically. So you need to have some tools in your toolbox if you want to put an offer in and actually get the house and close on it. Now, one of the first things that you have to do is get your financial house in order. It's really, really important. Speak to your mortgage broker, figure out what you need to do, figure out what you qualify for, what you're comfortable with, and get everything worked out with your mortgage broker ahead of time. Get yourself a solid pre-approval letter and really try to work with a mortgage broker that is an aggressive and proactive mortgage broker. If you're cash, that's a totally different story. But you want to be working with a mortgage broker who is involved from the beginning And it's actually involved in the process of putting in the offer because you want your offer to stand out. You want the seller to know that you're qualified to purchase the home. So very, very important. Do that up front before you actually go out and start looking at homes. The next thing you need to do is to make a plan on what you want to accomplish. Now, I know it sounds like, pretty obvious you want to buy a home when you're moving here, but you really need to get this plan in place before you actually go out, look at homes, and put an offer. So this is much more involved than just saying to yourself, well, I want to move to South Florida and I want to buy a 3-bedroom home up to $600,000 in a nice neighborhood. So I get this request all the time from people that reach out through this channel. They don't know the area very well, but they want to live in a nice neighborhood. Their criteria is a 3 or 4 bedroom home with a pool, and they have up to $600,000. What can I get? Well, the answer to that is probably a lot of stuff that you're really, really not interested in or would actually fit what you're looking for. So the first thing that we're going to do once we get an inquiry from someone who's looking to buy is to set up a face-to-face appointment. If you're here locally, we'll do it in the office, but if not, we're going to do a Zoom call where we can see each other and talk and go on the computer and have a real discussion about what your plans are. Now, during this Zoom conference, we ask a ton of questions because it's really more about lifestyle and what you're trying to accomplish and the actual style of house that you're looking to purchase. Now, obviously, knowing an amount or what you're qualified for or what you want to spend is critically important because it's really going to tailor where we look, because obviously some neighborhoods have homes that are priced higher, some are much lower, so we need to be in an area where it corresponds with what you want to spend. But your lifestyle is most important. So do you have kids? Do you want to be in a good school district? So what is your commute going to look like? Where are you going to work? Things like that. And what type of lifestyle you want to lead. Do you want to be by the beach? Do you want to be in a less congested area? All these things will really tailor where you're going to wind up. And I can tell you that all the different cities here in the greater Fort Lauderdale area are different. They might be close together. They might be very near each other. But I've had many people come down and see pictures online and think they love a house, but as soon as they drove into the neighborhood, immediately they knew this was not for them. So getting down here and boots on the ground is actually the second part of this, is really the discovery phase and getting down here and looking at neighborhoods. Now, we'll give you sort of a hot sheet at that time when you come into town of different homes and where they are. These are homes that you've probably seen that we were sending you. You liked the way it looked. The neighborhood looked okay, but until you actually drive through there, you will never know. It's best to do this privately or not with a realtor there giving you any input on that, and you'll know pretty quickly whether a certain area or city or neighborhood in a city is going to work for you. Another thing that's really important and to work out before you start the process is, where are you coming from? Are you in a lease right now that ends at a certain point? Are you selling your home and then relocating here? Do you need to sell your home in order to purchase the new one? Do you need the funds? Can you have 2 homes? Can you have 2 mortgages? These things are very important when it comes to putting in the offer and structuring the offer. And that's going to bring us to our next thing on the list, and that is actually putting in the offer. Okay, so now we're at the offer phase, and critically important to understand this going into it. When you're putting an offer on a house down here in South Florida, in our current market, with inventory being so low and with there being such a surplus of buyers, you're going to have a bunch of competition, so you need to be in this to win it. Again, we could speculate about the market all we want, but at this point here in South Florida, things are pretty much the same as they've been in the last couple of years, or at least since COVID. a very low inventory, and a bunch of people making offers on homes that you are making offers on as well. So obviously price is going to be the most important thing or first thing that a seller is going to look at when receiving an offer. That's pretty obvious. But there's other aspects of the offer that you want to pay attention to, because most likely there'll be somebody else offering kind of the same amount, or you're going to be competing with somebody else and maybe a highest and best offer. But just understand that someone else is going to be putting in an offer that's very, very similar to yours, and I'm talking about amount, price. So along with price comes a down payment, a financing, whether it's going to be a cash offer or financing is hugely important to the seller, and also the contingencies that are contained in the contract. So a real estate contract contains several contingencies, and these have to do with a buyer's home inspection, loan contingencies, title contingencies, things of that nature, appraisal. So all of these are things that the seller is going to look at. So you want to make your offer as attractive as possible. Now, contingencies, you know, you got to be very careful with those. And I made a video specifically about writing offers and getting them to win. And I'll be posting a link to this up top. So I'm not going to go into this too much. But as far as your contingencies, you want to try to make them as attractive as possible. I would be very leery about waiving an inspection or appraisal contingency, but you want to definitely shorten the time frame on the inspection, maybe try to close as quickly as possible. As far as appraisal, waiving the contingency outright is pretty risky, because if the home appraises for, say, $50,000 less than your offer price, you know, and you're financing, you're going to have to come up with that extra, that extra or the difference in appraisal from the appraisal amount to your offer amount in cash. So, you know, a lot of buyers are putting in some sort of a cap where they'll go over the appraised or low appraised value by a certain amount of money. And another contingency right now that we're seeing that's very popular is what we call a post-occupancy agreement. Now, I want to bring this one up specifically because I'm going through this right now, or went through this with a couple that I'm helping, Pamela and Herb. How you doing, guys? Now, post-occupancy agreements right now are extremely popular, and they're kind of really replacing a common contingency that was pretty popular in a normal market. And I say pre-COVID, pre this crazy real estate market with all this competition and multiple offers, and you know, where the buyers are having a very hard time, you know, actually winning an offer on a house. And this is not only in South Florida, this is going on throughout the country. So say a buyer has to sell their home, like we had mentioned earlier, and this goes back to making that plan. You want to do this ahead of time. If you're selling a home and need the proceeds to purchase the home, or you have to actually sell it and get the mortgage payment off your credit so you can qualify for the new home, normally what we would have done would be a contingency that basically in the contract that states the contract is contingent on the buyer selling their current home. Now, unfortunately, right now in this market, that contingency is almost unheard of. Very difficult to get a seller to accept that contingency, because, like I said, you're competing with a handful of other buyers, and there's always going to be someone that does not have that contingency. So a lot of people are doing right now is what we call a post-occupancy agreement, and this is going to happen on your selling side. So you're going to have a home for sale that you need to sell before you purchase. So what you'll do is you will negotiate that into your sale contract for your home that you're selling with the buyer. As a seller, you have much more leverage, and you need to tell them that you will close on your home, but you need to lease back the property for a certain amount of time, and that gives you the time to go out and find your new home and not have the contingency on the buying side. Now, this goes into much more detail as far as terms. Leave it up to your agent. If you have a strong agent on your selling side, the home that you're selling, they'll negotiate good terms for you. It's not uncommon to get free post-occupancy for sometimes even a month, or I've gotten 2 in this market for my seller. But that's something that will be worked out with whoever is helping you sell your home and the buyer that's purchasing your home. But you want to definitely do anything you can not to have that sale contingency, because it's very hard for a seller down here in South Florida to accept your offer if you have that contingency on there that you need to sell your current home first. And then once you're under contract with a home that you're purchasing and get through the inspection and all the contingencies, you will go to closing. Happy day. But the thing is, the hard part is to actually get a home under contract right now in this market. So hopefully this has helped you. And again, if you want to get a copy of my ultimate guide, again, 120 some odd pages of tips and tricks, totally free. There's a link down below in the description where you can get that copy, again, free of charge and with no obligation. And again, as much as I like to do these videos and put this information out, what I love more than anything is to help people just like you with your real estate needs, or to help you find that perfect place that you might be thinking of moving to or just want to go see. But again, in order to do that, you gotta reach out, and it's so easy. My number's down below. You can call me, you can text me, send me a comment or an email. I am open 24/7 and look forward to helping you with all your South Florida real estate needs. And until the next time, thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you on the next video. Take care.